But what the Gen Z experience is directly on the social media, the digital platform. They read and they get divided. They read and they hate. There are many cases of how the Bangladeshi people, for instance, has been tarnished a lot.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Faris. I am a student here at Faculty of Islamic Studies. First, I want to comment. Maybe I want to connect this book with my previous readings. When I listen to your eloquent presentation, it reminds me first with the book Islamic Law in Circulation by Mahmoud Kuria. He talked about the history of Indian Ocean. So what connects Malacca with South India, with Yemen, until Tanzania is Shafi'ism, Shafi'iyah. So this book also talk about what connect them. And also the author that maybe have similar approach to you is Jonathan Brown with his two books, Islam and Blackness and Islam and Slavery. He questioned why, he actually tells a story that he disgusted with slavery, and he read Hadith and Quran. How can slavery just mention without any criticism? So he began to search the Islamic intellectual history about slavery and also about blackness. Maybe blackness more relevant to killings. Both of blackness and killings become pejorative terms, and this kind of related three books with the Ocean Remembers. So my question is about the manuscript. You mentioned that there is a database about manuscript. Do you think that this manuscript is enough, or we need more manuscript editors? I also work with manuscript especially in determining Ramadan. And I asked the senior that say most of manuscripts still with family. It's been the family library. Do you think manuscript about killings is enough, or we need more manuscript editors, or like you did, you come to the database and do more research about it? And maybe that's my question. Thank you.
So about the Mahmoud Kuria's book and the manuscript. Okay, you relate it to the books that you read, which is very good. And about the killings database, whether you need, whether scholars like me in the future would need something more, is, I would say definitely, because what I use is that Ian Proudfoot Concordance Project database, and his main sources, all this kind of text coming from Malay world, the Malay text, not the Javanese text, the Javanese written text and other different languages, which I believe exist. I have used several of the Javanese written texts in this book, but I believe there are some more that has not been properly documented because there has been inadequate attention to this word previously. So if we do some extra job, some extra works, to just concentrate on whatever text coming from Javanese culture, Sundanese culture, let's say for example Cirebon, the Lampung, for instance, then I think there will be some important additional things that we can add to this book. If I don't know, if you are a literarian and if you read some kind of serat, serat and babat, or sejarah Cirebon, for instance, right? So there are so many words killing attached to their kings, attached to the penghulu, attached to the raden, attached to their, to the king. So I don't know, what is next? Can we can do, to contribute further to this discussion? I think it's going to be more. It is so important if we could, gather some more manuscripts like that in the future.
So the reason why manuscripts are so important is that there's still millions of manuscripts in the world that have not been digested and collected. In many parts of Africa, I have colleagues in Germany who work on North Africa. There are literally millions of manuscripts that have still to be documented. And we need to do this. And this is an urgent task. This is an urgent task. And I think these documents, because they collect not only our history, but they record these processes, these documents, I think it's the obligation of all countries, especially in the South, to actually collect and digitalize these documents to bring them back into the public domain. Now, unfortunately, as you note in your book, what's happened from the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th century is that one of the factors that ends up marginalizing the South Asians, South Indians, is the emergence of modern colonial capitalism. And so this logic of development is, is the thing that animates our politics today. So you cannot, it's very hard to go to a politician and say that, look, we need money to digitalize archives. We need money to digitalize manuscripts, because the immediate question is, where's the kelapa sawit? Where's the palm oil? What's the profit in all this, right? But the profit is, and I always say this, I cannot show you the benefit, the economic benefit of studying history, but I can show you the cost of not knowing your history. The cost of not knowing your history is the kind of mass populism that we see today. This is a result of people simply shooting their mouths off without knowing the background. If all the debates you talk about the way in which the term has become a slur, this is done only because people don't know the history of the word, right? And this is what happens when you don't know the history of words, concepts, ideas, whether it's the word killing or the word Arab or the concept of development. If you don't know the history of it, then we just take it blindly. And I think that's why I think this book is very important.